In yesterday's sermon, I used the story of Ray Kinsella, the main character in the movie Field of Dreams. I described the scene near the end of the movie where everything comes to a head. Having built a baseball field in his cornfield and thus risked his reputation in the community, his family's economic well-being, and possibly even his marriage itself, he finally asks one of the ghosts in the story, Shoeless Joe Jackson of the 1919 Chicago White Sox, "What's in it for me?" Instead of granting Ray his wish to see where the ball players disappear to between games, Jackson simply says, "I think you'd better stay here, Ray." When Ray asks why, Jackson's answer opens his eyes to something more wonderful than Ray could have asked for or imagined. Hello. I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your Daily Devotional for Monday, October 18th, 2021. After a day of baseball, as Ray and his wife Annie get ready to go back to the house, they turn and see Jackson standing and looking at them with a funny grin on his face. Ray says, "What are you grinning at, you ghost?" Jackson repeats the words that sent Ray on his crazy mission to begin with. "If you build it, he will come." Only, just before saying the words, "he will come," he turns his head to draw attention to one last ball player who hadn't yet returned to the corn. When Ray looks, he realizes it is his own late father from whom he had been estranged, come back as a young man trying to make a go of a career in the majors. When Ray and his father, John Kinsella, walk together, John asks Ray, "Is this heaven?" Ray answers, "It's Iowa." John says, "Iowa? I could have sworn it was heaven." Then Ray asks him the question we all want to ask. Is there a heaven? John responds, "Oh yeah, it's the place where dreams come true." Then looking around, seeing his farm, and then seeing his wife and daughter laughing on the porch swing, and finally looking back at his father standing before him, Ray finally says, "Maybe this is heaven." It is a wonderful, powerful scene, sure to bring tears to one's eyes, and it's not the answer that is as important as the question. We all want to know if there's a heaven, even the most faith-filled among us. And as importantly, what is heaven like? What will we be like? Will we be younger, more perfect versions of ourselves? Will we be living whatever unfulfilled dreams we had in our younger days? Will we see and recognize our loved ones? In 1 Corinthians 15, Paul gives us a glimpse behind the curtain. Just a glimpse, not a full-on view or a complete description. He's too smart to do that. Instead, he gives us a metaphor, an image that points us in the right direction. The question is a little different from Ray's, but only just a little. Paul says, "But someone will ask, how are the dead raised? With what kind of body do they come? Fool, what you sow does not come to life unless it dies. And as for what you sow, you do not sow the body that is to be, but a bare seed, perhaps of wheat or of some other grain. But God gives it a body as he has chosen, and to each kind of seed its own body." We ask questions like this because we have never actually seen heaven. We've never actually seen someone raised from the dead. We don't know what resurrection looks like. Paul's answer strikes me at first as a bit condescending. "Fool," he says. I don't feel much like a fool for wondering, and I bet you don't either, nor should you. It's a basic human nature to wonder about things we have not seen. But the rest of Paul's answer is inspired. Instead of an actual description, he uses an image from nature, comparing this mortal body with a seed and the resurrection body as the plant that grows from that seed. It is inspired because it uses an image with which we are all familiar, even little children. And he pointedly does not invite us to try to see any farther behind the curtain, as it were, to see things that are better left as items of faith. And finally, he keeps the focus where it should be, not on the gritty details of what a resurrection body looks like, but on the hope of the resurrection itself. When we return tomorrow, Paul extends this metaphor and ties it back to the question of how we are related to both Adam and to Jesus. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.